You've probably felt it, that feeling of disconnection, as though you were meant for something more. That sense that there's a bigger picture that you're not quite seeing yet. You're not alone. Many people are waking up, realizing that there's a world beyond what they've been taught. But what does it mean to wake up spiritually, and how can you know exactly where you are on this journey? The journey of spiritual awakening is not always clear. It can be confusing, overwhelming, and sometimes it feels like you're lost in a maze of spiritual concepts and practices. But the truth is, every step you take on this path is leading you to something greater, something that transcends the physical world. The spiritual awakening process happens in phases. There's no shortcut, no quick fix. But understanding where you are in the process can help you navigate the ups and downs of awakening and allow you to move forward with clarity and purpose. In this video, we're going to explore the 12 stages of spiritual awakening and help you understand exactly where you are in this transformative journey. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Stage 1. The wake-up call. You feel something is missing. The first stage of spiritual awakening often starts with a feeling of emptiness. You might have everything you need on the surface, a good job, relationships, stability, but there's something deep inside that doesn't feel right. You can't shake the feeling that there's more to life than what you've been told. This is often referred to as a wake-up call. It's a moment when you realize that your reality is not as it seems. It could be triggered by a major life event, such as the loss of a loved one, a breakup, or a personal crisis. Or it could simply come as a quiet realization that there's more to this life than material success or social status. At this stage, you might feel lost, or as if you're searching for something, but you don't know what it is, and that's perfectly normal. This stage marks the beginning of the spiritual journey, where the universe is calling you to start looking within for answers. Stage 2. Seeking truth, the quest for meaning. Once you've felt the wake-up call, the next stage often involves searching for answers. You begin questioning everything you've been taught. What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? What happens after we die? These questions will lead you to search for truth, and you might find yourself exploring various spiritual paths, practices, or philosophies. At this stage, you may begin reading spiritual books, attending workshops, or diving into self-help content. It's all part of the process of seeking the truth. You're starting to feel that there's a deeper understanding of reality waiting for you. You just have to find it. But be aware, this stage can be overwhelming. You'll come across many different viewpoints and philosophies, and it's easy to get lost in the sea of information. But remember, the truth is within you, and as long as you stay open and curious, you'll be guided to the answers that resonate most with your soul. Stage 3. The struggle, the battle between ego and spirit. As you begin to explore spiritual truths, you'll encounter a battle between your ego and your soul. The ego is attached to the physical world, to materialism, fear, and control. Your soul, on the other hand, is connected to your higher self and the divine. At this stage, the two are at odds. You may find yourself experiencing internal conflict. On one hand, you're beginning to feel the pull of something greater than yourself. On the other hand, your ego is resisting change, holding on to old beliefs and fears that keep you stuck. This can be a painful stage of awakening, as the ego doesn't like to let go of its control. But know this struggle is necessary for your growth. Every time you choose the path of the soul over the ego, you're moving closer to spiritual liberation. Stage 4. Surrender. Letting go of the old self. Once you've battled with your ego, you'll eventually reach a point where you realize you can't fight the process anymore. You reach a stage of surrender. The moment when you let go of the old self and allow the spiritual journey to unfold naturally. This can feel like a release, an opening of the heart and mind. You stop forcing things to happen and begin to trust the process. You surrender to the divine flow of life, knowing that you don't need to control everything. At this stage, you may experience feelings of freedom and peace that come from letting go of attachment. You stop trying to fit into societal norms and begin living more authentically. This stage is about trusting the universe, trusting your intuition, and allowing yourself to evolve naturally. After the initial stages of awakening, where you start questioning your reality and battling your ego, you enter a new phase. This phase is one of deep transformation, where your old self begins to break down and your true essence starts to emerge. The journey of spiritual awakening isn't a linear process. It's a spiral. You will find yourself going deeper into your consciousness, discovering hidden truths and shedding layers of your past. At this point, you may begin to experience a shift in perception. Things that once seemed important, like material possessions or societal approval, no longer hold the same value. You start to see life through a new lens, one that is centered around love, compassion, and spiritual connection. Stage 5. The dark night of the soul, facing your inner shadow. One of the most challenging and transformative stages in the spiritual awakening journey is known as the dark night of the soul. This stage is not for the faint of heart. It's the moment when you are confronted with the deepest parts of yourself, the shadow that you've been avoiding for years. It's the part of you that holds pain, fear, guilt, and all the suppressed emotions you've kept hidden for so long. The dark night of the soul feels like a crisis. You may experience depression, confusion, or a sense of complete disconnection from everything and everyone. This is the stage where you feel like everything is falling apart. But here's the truth. The dark night of the soul is necessary for your growth. It's the moment when you face your deepest wounds and allow them to heal. It's the stage where you begin to release the past and allow your true self to emerge from the ashes. Stage 6. Spiritual awakening in action. Living with purpose. As you emerge from the dark night of the soul, you enter a new stage of your spiritual awakening in action. This is where you begin to live in alignment with your higher purpose. You start following your intuition, trusting your inner guidance, and making decisions based on your spiritual values rather than external pressures. At this stage, you may feel like you are living with more clarity and purpose than ever before. Your connection with the divine becomes stronger, and you begin to experience a sense of peace and fulfillment that was previously out of reach. You start using your spiritual awakening to create positive change in your life and the lives of others. You realize that you are the creator of your own reality, and you take responsibility for every aspect of your life. This stage is all about empowerment and using your new understanding of the world to live authentically. Stage 7. Integrating spirituality into daily life. As you progress further, you come to realize that spirituality isn't something you do only during meditation or in quiet moments. It's a way of living. Spirituality becomes interwoven with every aspect of your life. In this stage, you start to see the divine in everything, You realize that the universe is always speaking to you through synchronicities, signs, and experiences. You start to treat others with more love, compassion, and respect, recognizing that we are all interconnected. Your life becomes an expression of your spiritual beliefs. You begin to make choices that are in alignment with your soul's true purpose, and you feel a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that you are living your truth. Stage 8. The awakening of higher consciousness, seeing beyond the physical. As you continue to awaken, you begin to experience higher states of consciousness. You start to see beyond the physical world and into the realms of the spirit, energy, and divine consciousness. At this stage, you might begin to have intuitive insights or visions that give you a deeper understanding of the universe. You start to perceive the interconnectedness of all things, and you begin to recognize that there is no separation between you and the divine. This stage brings with it a sense of oneness, a realization that we are all part of the same cosmic energy, and that our lives are connected to the flow of the universe in ways that we may have never fully understood before. At this stage in the spiritual awakening journey, you've already started to see the cracks in the old paradigm, the false beliefs, the societal pressures, and the egoic attachments. But now, you're facing a more difficult challenge: the fears within. The truth is, spiritual awakening isn't just about enlightenment or bliss. It's about facing your deepest fears, the ones you've been running from for years. It's about confronting your shadow and accepting the parts of yourself that you've hidden away. For many, this phase can feel like a breakdown. You might experience moments of intense fear or self-doubt, wondering if you're strong enough to continue the journey. But it's important to understand, this is not the end. It's a necessary part of the process. Stage 9. The shadow work. Embracing the unseen aspects of yourself. One of the most powerful and transformative stages of spiritual awakening is shadow work. Shadow work is the process of confronting and integrating the parts of yourself that you've kept hidden, the aspects of your personality and soul that you've been afraid to acknowledge. This might include your deepest fears, your insecurities, your past trauma, or even the parts of yourself that you've been told are bad or undesirable. When you engage in shadow work, you begin to accept all of these aspects, not as something to be ashamed of, but as pieces of your wholeness. This process can be intense, but it's essential for growth. You will start to feel more whole and authentic, and the energy that you once used to suppress these parts of yourself will be freed for new creative power. Shadow work isn't easy. It takes courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to go deep within. But once you face these hidden aspects, you'll start to experience freedom, a freedom that comes from being completely true to yourself. Stage 10. Letting go of attachments, embracing detachment. As you continue to confront your shadow and heal the wounds from the past, you will eventually reach a point where you must let go of attachments. This is the stage where you release your emotional ties to people, places, things, and even past identities. Attachment is one of the biggest barriers to spiritual growth. It keeps you stuck in the past, tied to memories, old relationships, and outdated belief systems. But in order to move forward and evolve spiritually, you must let go of these attachments. Letting go doesn't mean rejecting people or things. It means no longer clinging to them for your happiness or sense of self. It means recognizing that your true self is not defined by anything external. As you let go of attachments, you will begin to feel more peaceful and more free. You will be able to enjoy life without the fear of losing it, and you will experience the true meaning of detachment, a state of inner peace. Stage 11. Finding your true purpose. Alignment with the divine. Once you've gone through the process of shadow work and detachment, you begin to find your true purpose. At this stage, you are no longer living according to the expectations of others or the limitations of the ego. You start to align with your soul's mission and the divine plan that's been set for you. Finding your purpose doesn't necessarily mean that you know exactly what you're supposed to do, but it means that you've found your direction. You're no longer wandering aimlessly, but moving with clarity and confidence toward what you're meant to do in this life. When you align with your purpose, you begin to experience flow. Things start to happen with ease, and the universe begins to conspire in your favor. Opportunities present themselves, and you feel an undeniable sense of fulfillment and alignment. This stage is about recognizing that you are here for a reason, and that your unique gifts and talents are needed in the world. Stage 12. Divine integration. Becoming one with your higher self. The final stage of spiritual awakening is divine integration. At this point, you have fully embraced your spiritual nature and your true self. You've shed the layers of ego and illusion, and you're living in alignment with your higher consciousness. In this stage, you realize that you are one with the universe, and that the divine is not separate from you. You are no longer seeking or chasing enlightenment. You have become enlightened. Your life is now a reflection of the divine principles of love, peace, and truth. You are no longer attached to material desires or external validation. Instead, you live with an inner knowing that everything you need is already within you. This stage is about embodiment. You no longer just think spiritually, you live spiritually. Your actions, words, and thoughts align with the divine, and you become a vessel for unconditional love and universal wisdom. As you begin to realize the incredible power of the spiritual awakening process and how deeply it can transform your life, you'll understand that this is just the beginning. There's so much more to uncover, and the path ahead is filled with endless opportunities for growth, healing, and true freedom. If you're ready to continue exploring the secrets of the universe and take your spiritual journey to new heights, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you're joining a community of like-minded souls, all on a journey of awakening, and you'll never miss out on the next powerful revelation. Click subscribe now. Your higher self is waiting for you. As you continue your spiritual journey, one of the most powerful steps you can take is to let go of the past. This means releasing old emotional baggage, letting go of the pain and resentment that you've been carrying for so long, and freeing yourself from the weight of old identities that no longer serve you. At this stage of spiritual awakening, you begin to realize that the past is a story, a series of memories, experiences, and emotions that are no longer relevant to your present or future. The only reason we hold on to the past is because we've attached meaning to it. But when you release that attachment, you find that there's nothing to hold you back anymore. Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean erasing the memories or pretending the experiences never happened. Instead, it means making peace with the past and choosing to move forward without being weighed down by it. When you let go, you free yourself from the emotional chains that have been holding you back. You allow yourself to be present and embrace the beauty of the now. And this is where true spiritual freedom lies. The power of forgiveness. One of the most powerful tools for letting go of the past is forgiveness. This stage of spiritual awakening calls you to forgive not only others, but also yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean you condone the actions that hurt you. It means that you release the emotional attachment to the pain and allow yourself to move forward without being held hostage by the past. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's not about the person who wronged you. It's about you freeing yourself from the anger, resentment, and pain that have been keeping you stuck in the past. When you forgive, you open your heart to healing. You allow your energy to flow freely, and you create space for love and peace to enter. Releasing limiting beliefs. Another crucial part of letting go is releasing the limiting beliefs that have been programmed into you. These are the beliefs that tell you what you can or cannot do, what you are worthy of, and what you deserve. The truth is, these beliefs were never yours to begin with. They were handed down to you by society, culture, family, and experiences. But as you awaken spiritually, you begin to recognize that these beliefs are false constructs, limitations that are keeping you small. In this stage, you start to question every belief you've ever had about yourself. What stories have you been telling yourself about your worth? What fears have you been carrying that no longer serve you? Letting go of these beliefs is like peeling back the layers of a false identity. Once you remove them, you'll start to feel lighter, freer, and more aligned with your authentic self. Moving into the present moment. When you let go of the past and release the limiting beliefs, you begin to move into the present moment, where all true transformation takes place. This is where the magic happens. At this stage, you begin to recognize that the present is all there is. The past is a memory, and the future is an illusion. The only moment that truly exists is now. Living in the present moment allows you to experience life in a way that you never have before. You stop chasing after things, and instead, you begin to embrace life as it is, in its purest form. You start to understand that life is not about achieving, accumulating, or becoming something else. It's about being fully present, fully alive, and fully aligned with your soul's purpose. When you live in the present, you are free. The shift to spiritual mastery. Once you've let go of the past and surrendered to the present, you experience a profound shift in your energy. You begin to feel connected to something greater than yourself, a universal force that guides you, protects you, and supports you every step of the way. This is when spiritual mastery begins to emerge. At this point, you realize that you are not just a human being. You are a divine being, capable of creating your reality, guiding your thoughts, and living in harmony with the universe. The more you connect with your higher self, the more you become attuned to your inner wisdom. You start to live your life based on intuition rather than logic, and you start to trust the process of life with unwavering faith. This is the stage where you begin to see the divine intelligence behind everything. You begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, and you understand that you are a vital part of this universal flow. Now that you've let go of the past and cleared the blockages within, it's time to focus on the next phase of spiritual awakening, spiritual growth and maturity. This stage is where you move from awareness to action, from realization to integration. Spiritual growth isn't just about becoming enlightened or achieving a sense of peace. It's about becoming more whole, more grounded, and more aligned with your soul's true purpose. At this point, your spiritual path is no longer just a personal journey. It's an ongoing process of growth that expands into all areas of your life. The shift from seeking to being. At earlier stages in your awakening, you may have been constantly searching for answers, searching for signs, searching for the truth. But now, you begin to realize that the search was never about finding something outside yourself. The truth was always within you. Spiritual growth is the process of becoming the person you were always meant to be. You are no longer chasing after external validation or the next spiritual high. Instead, you focus on being present in each moment, being aligned with your heart's desires, and being authentic to your true self. This is where spiritual maturity begins, when you stop seeking and start being. Cultivating inner peace. One of the most profound aspects of spiritual maturity is the ability to cultivate inner peace. At this stage, you begin to realize that peace is not something to be achieved. It is something that already exists within you. It's not dependent on external circumstances or possessions. It's about being centered and grounded in the present moment, regardless of what's happening around you. Inner peace is not the absence of challenges, but the ability to stay calm and balanced in the face of life's ups and downs. As you progress on your spiritual journey, you'll begin to develop the tools and the mindset needed to stay in this state of peace, no matter what. You'll learn to approach challenges with a sense of calm, knowing that they are temporary and that you have the strength to overcome them. Developing compassion and empathy. As you continue to grow spiritually, your heart begins to open wider. You start to experience greater empathy and compassion for others as you see the divine spark within them. You recognize that everyone is on their own spiritual journey, and you no longer judge or criticize others for their mistakes or shortcomings. Instead, you approach people with understanding and kindness. Your heart becomes a beacon of light, radiating love to everyone you encounter. Compassion becomes the foundation of your relationships. You begin to see the world through the lens of love rather than fear. And this love extends not only to others, but also to yourself. You begin to forgive yourself for past mistakes and accept your imperfections as part of your human experience. Living with purpose and intention. At this stage, you start to live with purpose and intention. You've learned to listen to your soul's calling, and now you're ready to take action based on that inner guidance. You begin to align your thoughts, actions, and energy with your higher purpose. You no longer let life happen to you. You create your life with intention. Every decision you make, every action you take, comes from a place of alignment with your soul's truth. This is the stage where you start to see the fruits of your spiritual labor. Your life begins to flow more effortlessly, and you start attracting the people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your highest good. Living a life of fulfillment. As you reach this stage of spiritual maturity, you begin to experience a life of fulfillment. You no longer seek external validation or approval because you know that your true worth comes from within. You live each day with gratitude, joy, and a deep sense of purpose. you begin to see the beauty in the simple things: the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of the birds chirping, the connection you share with loved ones. You've learned to embrace life in all its forms, and you find fulfillment not in what you acquire, but in the experiences you have and the love you give. Living a life of fulfillment is not about perfection, it's about acceptance. It's about accepting yourself as you are and embracing every moment with an open heart. As you progress in your spiritual journey, one of the most powerful realizations you'll have is that your awakening is not just for you. It's part of a much larger purpose, one that involves the transformation of not just your life, but the world around you. In earlier stages of awakening, you focus mainly on your own inner growth, healing, and evolution. But as you reach higher levels of consciousness, you begin to realize that your spiritual path is interconnected with the paths of others. This realization opens the door to global transformation, a shift in collective consciousness that has the power to change the world. At this point in your journey, it's not just about you anymore. It's about how you can contribute to the awakening of humanity and the creation of a new world based on love, unity, and spiritual alignment. The collective awakening, unity in consciousness. When you begin to understand that we are all connected, you start to see that your spiritual journey is not just an individual path, but a collective evolution. The changes that you make in your life ripple out and influence the collective consciousness. When you raise your vibration, you help raise the vibration of everyone around you. The awakening of individual souls is a catalyst for a greater shift, a shift where humanity comes together in a unified state of higher consciousness. This awakening leads to the realization that we are all part of a greater universal system, and that by working together, we can create a world that reflects our highest potential. Spiritual activism, using your awakening for the greater good. As your awakening deepens, you may feel a sense of urgency to take action. This action isn't about fighting or resisting the old world. It's about creating the new world, a world where love, compassion, and equality are the foundation. Spiritual activism is about using your awakened state to make a positive impact in the world. This can be through simple acts of kindness, spreading love, and encouraging others to awaken. Or it can be through more structured means, such as leading social movements, advocating for peace, or fighting for environmental sustainability. Your spiritual awakening brings with it the ability to see the world through the eyes of the divine. And as you do, you can't help but want to improve it. You begin to realize that your role in the world is far more significant than just personal success. It's about helping others awaken and creating a better world for future generations. The power of collective intent, creating a new reality together. The more people who awaken spiritually, the more powerful the collective energy becomes. When people come together with a shared spiritual intention, they create a force that is greater than the sum of its parts. This collective energy has the potential to create massive change, not just in your personal life, but on a global scale. When many people align their thoughts and actions with a common purpose, they can shift the world in profound ways. Think about the power of collective meditation, mass movements for peace, or unified global action for climate change. When we align our energy with a shared vision, we can create miracles. This is why spiritual awakening is not just an individual journey, but a global movement. As more people awaken, the collective consciousness rises, and with it, the potential for global transformation. How your awakening can impact the world. Your spiritual awakening isn't just about personal growth. It's about understanding that your individual journey is part of a much larger process of global evolution. As you continue to raise your vibration and live in alignment with your higher self, you will begin to see that the world around you also begins to shift. You'll notice that the people you interact with become more conscious, more compassionate, and more open to change. The more you embody the principles of love, truth, and unity, the more you inspire others to do the same. This creates a ripple effect that can bring about massive change, not just in your own life, but in the world at large. Spiritual awakening is not just about feeling good or achieving enlightenment. It's about using your awakened energy to create positive change in the world. Your growth is not just for you, it's for the collective, for humanity, for the earth. The vision of a new earth, living in harmony with the divine. The ultimate vision of spiritual awakening is a new earth, a world where humanity lives in harmony with the divine and with each other. This world is based on unity, love, and spiritual connection. When you align with your higher self and embody the principles of love and compassion, you begin to experience a taste of this new earth. And as more and more people awaken and align with their divine purpose, we collectively create the reality that we all desire. This is not a fantasy. It's a reality in the making. As we awaken, we begin to build the foundation of a new world, one where every person can live in peace, love, and freedom. As you've seen so far, spiritual awakening is not just about personal transformation. It's about becoming a beacon of light for others, guiding the way for a collective shift in consciousness. This part of the journey is about being present, not just for yourself, but for the entire world. The idea of spiritual presence is simple yet profound. It's the ability to be fully connected to the now, to the divine energy flowing through everything, and to the people around you. When you are spiritually present, you are attuned to the universal flow, the vibrations of truth, love, and compassion that resonate through every living being. At this stage, your mission is no longer just about your personal enlightenment. It's about guiding others to see the same light, to open their eyes to the truth, and to realize their role in the global awakening. You are called to use your spiritual presence to help shift the collective consciousness, and that's a powerful responsibility. The role of the spiritual leader, becoming a guiding light. As you continue to awaken, you may find that you are naturally stepping into the role of a spiritual leader, not in a traditional sense, but as a guide, a beacon, and a source of inspiration for others. Spiritual leadership doesn't mean having all the answers. It means embodying the qualities of love, wisdom, and compassion that others can look to. It means living in alignment with the divine and demonstrating through your actions how others can do the same. You become a living example of what it means to live a life of purpose, to live a life of service, and to live a life of truth. People are drawn to your energy because they sense your alignment with the divine, and they begin to trust your guidance. This doesn't mean you need to be perfect. It means you need to be real, to show your authentic self, and to share the lessons you've learned with those who are ready to hear them. Building communities of light. Collective awakening. The spiritual journey is not meant to be walked alone. As you awaken, you realize the importance of community, of gathering with others who are on the same path, supporting each other, and growing together. This is where the concept of spiritual communities comes in. It's not just about finding like-minded people to meditate with or attend workshops with. It's about building a supportive network that helps each individual grow spiritually while also contributing to the collective awakening. When we come together in community, we create a space where healing, transformation, and spiritual growth can flourish. We are no longer isolated in our journey, but are part of something much greater, a collective shift in consciousness. These communities of light are where true change happens. They are where people come together to share wisdom, uplift each other, and create a new reality grounded in love, unity, and higher consciousness. The global shift, spiritual awakening as a collective phenomenon. Spiritual awakening is no longer just an individual process. We are now in the midst of a global awakening, where people from all walks of life are beginning to question the old systems, the old paradigms, and the old ways of living. This awakening is happening at a rapid pace, and it's not just happening in small pockets of the world. It's happening everywhere. From grassroots movements for social justice to large-scale environmental activism, people are waking up and realizing that they have the power to create a new world. A world where spiritual values, love, compassion, unity, and truth guide every decision. This is the global shift we're all part of. It's a shift that can only happen if we come together in shared intention and work toward a common goal. And that goal is a world where peace, harmony, and spiritual awakening are the foundation of all that we do. The role of light workers. Awakening the collective. You are a light worker, whether you realize it or not. Every step you take on your spiritual journey is a step toward awakening the collective. As a light worker, your job is to shine, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Your energy is a beacon that can help others find their way. Light workers come in many forms: teachers, healers, artists, parents, activists. The key is that you are someone who is consciously helping to raise the collective vibration of humanity. As you continue to awaken and step into your role as a light worker, you will begin to realize the power of your energy. You will see how just by being your authentic self, you can inspire others to awaken to their own divine nature. You are not here to fix the world. You are here to be the change and inspire others to follow the same path. Now, we've reached the pinnacle of the spiritual journey. This is the stage where you truly integrate all the wisdom, insights, and transformations you've experienced along the way. It's not just about intellectual understanding anymore. It's about living the truth of your being. You've let go of the past. You've shed the layers of your old identity. And now, you've stepped into the true power of your spiritual essence. You realize that you are not just a physical being. You are a divine being having a human experience. And this realization is what allows you to create a new reality. One where you live in alignment with your highest self, your soul's purpose, and the universe itself. At this stage, you start to see everything differently. Your relationships, your job, your home, your health, everything becomes an expression of your divine truth. This is where the true freedom begins. The freedom to live authentically, to create the life you desire, and to contribute to the global shift toward higher consciousness. The art of spiritual integration. Spiritual integration is the process of bringing your spiritual insights into every aspect of your life. It's about embodying the wisdom you've gained and applying it to your daily actions, your relationships, and your decisions. This stage is about alignment, aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with the divine flow of life. It's about living your spirituality, not just practicing it in moments of meditation or reflection. You've learned the lessons, now it's time to walk the talk. At this point, you're no longer seeking validation from the outside world. You know that the answers lie within you, and you trust your inner guidance completely. Every moment becomes an opportunity to practice your spiritual wisdom and contribute to the world's healing, creating a new reality with divine intent. The more you integrate your spiritual wisdom, the more you begin to see that you are the creator of your reality. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are an active participant in the unfolding of your life. This realization is powerful. It means that you are in control of the energy you bring to every situation, to every person you encounter, and to every challenge you face. You start to create your reality consciously, with divine intent, and with the knowing that the universe is supporting you every step of the way. When you live with purpose and clarity, you begin to shape your reality in ways that reflect your highest vision for yourself and for the world. You start to see abundance, love, and peace manifesting in your life as a natural result of your alignment with the divine. The ripple effect of your transformation. As you step into this state of divine integration, you become a beacon of light for others. Your transformation creates a ripple effect that inspires everyone around you to awaken, to heal, and to live in alignment with their higher selves. This is the power of collective consciousness. When one person awakens, they help awaken others. Your journey is not just about you, it's about the collective. As you live more fully in alignment with your spiritual truth, you help raise the vibration of the entire planet. You are a vessel of change, and every time you embody your highest self, you contribute to the global shift toward peace, love, and spiritual evolution. The vision of a new earth, building a world based on love, unity, and spiritual truth. We are not just awakening individually. We are part of a global awakening, a shift in consciousness that is sweeping across the world, bringing us closer to the creation of a new earth. This new earth is one where people live in harmony with the planet, with each other, and with the divine. It is a world based on love, unity, and spiritual truth. It is a world where spiritual awakening is not just an individual experience, but a global phenomenon. And you, yes, you, are an essential part of this transformation. You are here to help create this new world, to guide others on their spiritual journey, and to bring more light into the world. As you've journeyed through this process of awakening, the question now is, are you ready to fully embrace your true power? You've learned the lessons, you've faced the challenges, and now you stand at the threshold of a new beginning. The path is clear, the universe is waiting, and your soul is calling you to step into your purpose. But the choice is yours. Will you answer the call? Will you step into your true self and create the life you've always dreamed of? Will you be part of the global shift and contribute to the creation of a new earth? The answers are within you. The universe is guiding you every step of the way. All that's left to do now is take action. What action will you take today to fully embrace your spiritual power? How will you contribute to the collective awakening and help create the world you desire? What steps will you take to live your truth and guide others on their journey?